how do you even answer the phone? How do you book your client, and how do you then service the client? If you don't have a plan for that, like, you might as well have not done it at all, right?
Yeah, you bang on. And most people try to run before they can walk there. So having that system in place, which can enable you to nurture, track, even capture just all those contacts right through the sales cycle of whatever the product is you're selling. Joe, welcome to the Sideshed podcast.
Matt, good to be here. Thanks for having me on. Been a long time coming.
Mate, it has been. I've been dying to get you on the show. You're a bit of a celebrity in the TikTok space these days. Tell us a bit about that.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I don't know about a celebrity, but we do all right. So, yeah, look, we started doing TikToks probably a couple of years ago now, and just having a bit of fun and sort of just taking off a little bit. So just do our best with it. That's all.
That's awesome. No, it's good. It's good fun. I love watching I love watching them. They're very creative. It's funny,
Look,
like we have like loads of Sparkies and solar guys actually know you because of that. Like I guess
yeah.
people see some like case studies and stuff come through social and they're like, is that the TikTok guy? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like, it gets around, like, it's unbelievable what TikTok has and like what they can do with just sharing, just the reach, that TikTok has,
Yeah.
just to the broader community. And yeah, like, we get it all the time. Like, we'll be walking down the street and there'll be like an apprentice or another tradie. They'll be like, "Oh, you those TikTok guys?" Like, yeah, yeah,
Really?
we are. It
That's
happens. It happens. I had one of our guys was out doing a DJ set. Oh, not a DJ set. He was out at a festival interstate, and yeah, he got pulled up a few times, you reckon? So
classic.
it's a great platform. It's good for your sort of like brand awareness as a whole. Look,
Sure.
you get a bit of backlash from people.
Of course.
You can't be ultimately perfect on the internet, but it works its magic other ways. Put it that way.
Right, there's the minute you start popping up on radars, people will start trying to pull you down. It doesn't matter what the platform is. When
Yeah, and that's probably the biggest thing.
you just got to have a thick skin, especially once you start running paid traffic, which you well and truly know about. But yeah, it's always funny. It's always we get it as well. We've got like this one loser competitor who always like he sees our ads and he always comments on it. It's the funniest thing. We just crack up internally because it's so pathetic. But you just get it. That's the paid game.
Yeah, look, and that's it. Like, I think the thing is just you just got to be aware of whenever you publicize yourself and your business. There's always going to be someone that just wants to tear it down, and it's just I don't know, I always just think it's a jealousy sort of thing.
Mhm.
You know, you just got to just keep trooping through, keep doing your thing, and don't worry about what anyone else has to sort of say about the content you put out. Just have a bit of fun with it. That's all we do. We don't
Totally.
actively go out trying to sell stuff. I think that's where a lot of other businesses can sometimes go wrong.
Yeah.
Is if you, I feel like when you're on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, if you're actively trying to sell stuff like that, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You
Well,
don't build your following actively
unless
selling.
you're running ads, like yeah, I know what you mean though. It's more brand awareness and just get to know.
Yeah, definitely. Paid ads is different kettle of fish, but when you're just posting just for the hell of it, you aren't going to build a bit of a following
Yeah.
with we're trying to sell someone something. You lose interest straight away. The attention span of the demographic is so short now that if you
Totally.
don't catch their attention in half a second, you're gone. You're done for.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess that platform especially kind of lends itself to that short attention span, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny. That, like, TikTok as a whole. Someone did actually screenshot our profile and put it up on an electrician's forum, just talking about a bit of backlash.
Yeah.
I did see it. It was funny. And someone did comment, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not sure that 16 to 20-year-olds are actively looking to buy solar on TikTok."
Yeah.
but they've missed the whole point, right? The point was
Exactly.
is our profile got screenshotted on another platform and publicized without us having to do anything.
I know,
They
perfect.
totally missed the point of it.
I know. You just got to laugh. And every time someone comments on your thing, on your post or whatever, even if it's negative, just thanks for boosting the algorithm, you dickhead.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's exactly right.
so we got introduced through, was it Fraser or something like that? Fraser Duncan?
Yeah, so yeah, we got introduced. Yeah, a couple was it
That was a long
what?
time ago, mind you, but
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I reckon. Now, he actually just said to me one day about actually listen to this very podcast. Funny how things pan out.
mm,
Um, and I started listening to it. I'd be walking my dog, and just as business people do, they just try to look to expand their knowledge base. I was listening to your podcast, and then one day I just thought, you know what, we weren't having any luck with our marketing and how we were sort of doing things, and I thought I'll have a chat to Matt, and yeah, time goes on, and here we are.
there you go. Now you're on the podcast.
Now I'm on the podcast.
Now you've made it. Forget about your 500 million TikTok followers.
Yeah, exactly.
So mate, give the listeners a bit of insight as to who you are and what you do and where you're from and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, look, so bit of a young gun. 27 at the moment. We started our business about 6 years ago. I started my business the week I got qualified. I started my business, and initially I sort of just done a bit of everything, bit of renovations, just a bit of electrical. I'm an electrician, by the way, for anyone else out there that doesn't already know. Um, just doing the just general sort of electrician stuff that you would do. Got on a few years and then sort of really niched down, and now we arguably have a good market share of solar in the Adelaide region. And we've sort of done a bit of work elsewhere in New South Wales as well, but mainly Adelaide and South Australia as a whole. So yeah, we specialise in solar and grid connected batteries, off grid batteries, just renewables as a whole, EV charging.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much about 80% of our work.
Yeah, nice. So your last 12 months has been pretty crazy. I suppose I'd like to get a bit of a line graph of some of the bigger things that have occurred within that space. Obviously, you've grown the team significantly. You've grown the business significantly, and I'd love to hear about some of those achievements.
Yeah, so look, like as any other sort of business owner, we're in our 6th year now. So we've, as you know, that there's that 5-year mark that you've got to sort of get over. And we were just spinning the wheels up until that point. And then really like before the last 12 months that we had, we're pretty much just doing a bit of contracting work. We're doing a lot of our own sales, but mainly just working for sales-based companies and doing contracting work, builders, all the rest of it. And something sort of had to just change. So decided to more or less just spend a bunch of money getting our website going, getting our marketing on point, getting the ads happening, all the rest of it. For context, it was just me and one apprentice at the start of the year. So January of 2023, me and one guy. Many of you may know Lorenzo if you do watch the TikToks. So me and him, he was a 4th-year apprentice at the start of the year. Fast forward 12 months, we now have pretty well 10 in-house employees. So that ranges from ground crew, so guys on the tools, and admin and bookkeeping and accounting as well. So the last 12 months has been pretty wild. And we've sort of really just hit the ground running this year, and yeah, been good.
So with growth comes headaches and problems. What are some of the headaches you've had with growing a business that fast with a team like that?
Oh, as anything, like cash flow is a bit of an issue. We've had some other weird issues as well along the way, but mainly just process. Dialing in process, making sure everything's done right, and training. So finding the right people. The biggest thing is you take on an admin. You do this within 12 months. There's no real time to train people and get the processes down packed, right? So there's a lot of effort, long nights, long days putting into making sure that everyone knows their job, knows what they're doing, and does it well. Because given we haven't taken on fully skilled people either, we sort of sometimes just taken on people just to have someone there, just to take a little bit of the weight off my shoulders.
Like apprentices and that kind of thing, or
Apprentices, even like admin, that
right?
they're not geared up properly. They've dabbled in admin sort of stuff before. They've wanted to come work for us, and then they've just come in and they sort of had to learn that role.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, we also did take on sort of people that were incredibly skilled in what they're doing,
Sure.
as well, which sort of definitely took the weight off for sure and sort of helped out that load. But yeah, that's probably one big hurdle that you're going to have. And cash flow is the other one. You're buying vans, you're buying tools, you're buying equipment, and then ultimately, you've got to fund the extra work as well as a trade based business. You've got to buy the materials to do the work.
Yeah.
So all of those comes, they're the hurdles. Even like things like insurance goes up, liability goes up, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So just trying to manage all that and keep it all together and like held strong. That's been probably one of the biggest hurdles.
Has that forced you to wear different hats in the business from where you were 12 months ago?
Yeah, so definitely like at the start of the year, I was on the tools full time at the end of the day. I was on the tools, I was selling, I was doing our admin work, and then you kind of move. Every day is different, One day I'm an admin person, one day I'm a salesperson, another day I'm a tradie on the tools.
Yeah.
You're pretty well wearing every hat, but and at every given point of growth is going to come another challenge anyway. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be a, multi-million dollar business and you're still going to have those challenges. But yeah, definitely wore a lot of different hats this year. But yeah, I think probably one of the biggest things for any sort of new business in their growth stage as well is get some coaching. That's probably one of the biggest things that we've had this year that's helped us through.
Sure.
I don't think if I had the right coaching in place, I would have crumbled pretty quick, I think.
Yeah. So I connected you with Rob, right?
Yeah. So little plug, Rob Pravar Group.
Yeah,
but I have a business and a personal coach as well. So
really?
Rob does our sort of business coaching, because I think as well as a business owner, there's a lot of personal pressure put on you as a business owner. So I do have a personal coach that does a bit of personal work with me, and then also like a bit of business sort of help as well. But shout out to Rob for the business side of stuff, because without sort of what he puts out and the info that he's given me, I think any business in that growth stage would definitely crumble really quick, because you just don't know anything. If you're a trader at the end of the day, you spend 4, 5, 10 years on the tools. You've got no idea how to run a business properly, and a lot of guys are just spinning the plates at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's a legend. I love his program. It's so good. we're forever sending people each other's way. It's just such a good relationship there.
Funny because it's definitely another plug that we've got from this podcast as well. That's how we got connected with Rob too. So
yeah,
it's funny how things pan out.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, it's like it's a big industry, but it's small. It's a big industry, but a small community. Like it doesn't take long to shake out the dead wood, and people start knowing who's good and who's not. And yeah, it's a good little referral loop there.
100%. 100%. You never know where connections come from at the end of the day in this world.
Is there anything you think you probably would have done differently if you were talking to yourself 12 months ago?
Oh, look, I haven't thought that far. I always just focus on the now and what's ahead. I don't ever really look back too much. There's nothing I definitely regret. I think even with making mistakes along the way, I try and for any business owner, adopt a bit of a growth mindset. So rather than things happening to me, I try and think things happen for me. So when bad things happen, I try and find the positive out of it. And at the end of the day, when something like that, when bad things happen, or when people ask me, would you change anything? Like, no, probably not, because you learn from it at the end of the day. I've learned a lot of lessons this year. I've learned a lot of lessons in the last 6 years of being in business. And so no, there's nothing I definitely would have changed at all. I think everything was pretty kosher the way it is.
I think you've done the right thing in like not trying to rush it. I mean, I know it seems like it's rushed, but I mean, people say, oh, like you can look at it on paper and say that growth's happened in 12 months, but realistically, it's taken you 6 years to get to that point. It's the same. It's the same with a lot of business. Like it could be slow up to a point, and then all of a sudden things click into place, and then it grows.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like if you look at if I was to put a line diagram as a graph for growth, and for anyone watching, it kind of goes like this, or for me, it went like this. It kind of went up, and then it crashed, and then
Yeah,
it came up again, and then it plateaued,
yeah,
right, and then that's when it went up. So, there were times, there were definitely times, midway, and even towards that sort of 4, 5, 6 year mark before I got to like the last 12 months that it came very close to calling it quits, and not even making it past that 5 year mark at the end of the day. But what I will say is that those bad times gave me the biggest lessons.
totally.
Um, and I attribute even like the last 12 months, especially in the way of employees, to those bad times, and culture building
Yeah.
within the business. I think culture building is incredibly important.
Yeah, I mean, it's I guess when you've gone from zero or one staff to 10 in a year, there's obviously like managing people and managing culture becomes a pretty significant aspect of the business and a pretty big part of what you do there. So do you have a cadence around that? Like, is there anything you do specifically to maintain and the cultural side of the business?
Yeah, definitely. Again, this comes back to our like what I was talking before about a growth mindset. The employees don't work for me. Number one, I work for the employees.
Yeah.
So that's number one, and I don't hire anymore based on skill. While there's like you have to have a certain skill level to do the job, right? That's not the be or end all for me anymore. So definitely now the way I hire people just is more about who they are, what they're like, what their values are and their culture brings and what they can bring to the team in that aspect, rather than like, oh yeah, can you slap on 20 panels in half a day versus can you slap on 20 panels in 2 days? I'd
Yeah.
rather someone spend 2 days doing it, but are happy to be there and put the extra effort in, than hire someone that can do it quickly, but no one likes working with them.
Yeah.
Um, and then on top of that, just in terms of like culture, making sure everyone's happy to be there. There's nothing worse than going to work and not wanting to actually be there. And I think like the culture is the change in mindset, and culture within the business is what grows the business. Your employees are ultimately what grow your business.
Mhm.
All the guys that have come on have been friends of friends, or they know each other from somewhere, and they're all happy to work together. And when you have someone that they want to work together, they do really good work,
Yeah. So is
and they
that
bring sales in.
yeah, sure. Is that a conscious like approach for you? Like, is it you don't go out there like actively recruiting on like recruitment platforms, you just sort of recruit from within?
Yeah, so like Steak is dead to me.
Yeah.
We in the past we've paid so much money to put ads up on job advertising platforms like
Yeah.
Seek and Indeed and all the rest of it. Never works, right? At the end of the day, all you find on Seek and whatnot is you find,
People that
is
can't
just
get a job.
just job hoppers at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
That's not what we're after. We're after long term,
Yeah.
quality guys, at the end of the day. And it's funny because you look at the guys that apply and Seek, send you a resume or whatnot through those traditional sort of methods, and you see their employment history, and it's like they've changed to 5 different jobs within the last 5 years. And it's like, well, they're not the kinds of guys that you want to bring on. So actively now, yeah, I try to say to the boys, like, guys, do you know anyone that wants to come across?
Yeah.
Um, Definitely our socials has helped with that, because our socials definitely showcase the culture within our business.
Mhm.
That everyone's happy to be there, and the work that we do is guys are having fun at work, right?
Mhm.
That's actually what it is like. But yeah, actively now, well, I just ask the guys, hey, do you know anyone that wants to come across? Do you know someone that might be nearly finished their apprenticeship? Do you know a good apprentice that wants to come on board? And 9 times out of 10, they already know someone, or they'll ask a few mates, and someone hates their job where they are now. and they're keen as to come across.
Yeah, right.
So that's a really good way that we found to bring on good staff that fit in well with our values and sort of what we do and how we do it.
So what does it look like for you now, like your position in the business as to obviously when you were jumping all over the place 12 months ago, trying to wear every hat? Like what does it look like now for you day to day?
Yeah, so look, right as it is right now, end of the day, what are we now? We're on the 21st of December right now. So right now, I can quite easily and happily not be on the tools at all, right? I still do like jumping on the tools. At the end of the day, I'm a tradie at heart. Probably much like yourself, Matt, as an ex-plumber, you still don't mind probably jumping on the tools. I don't know. You may,
No,
may
but
not.
it's true. I
But
honestly, when I got out of off the tools, I actually started missing it a lot. Like I love my wife always takes the piss out of me because I'll just go sit in the garage and just build stupid shit like battery racks for drills I don't use, and just because I want to
yeah,
actually do something physical, I'll
yeah,
create
you sort of
something.
you want to use your hands at the end of the
Yeah,
day. That's what you
exactly.
were made to do. I didn't excel well at school, so that's why I did so well at the trade.
You and me both.
But yeah, day to day, like now, next year, especially, I'm not. You won't see me on the tools too much. But it's more about building the business out. Taking on how do we improve our processes? How do we improve our marketing? How do we improve our brand as a whole? Um, and how do I delegate? I'm more about delegating tasks out now than actually doing them.
Mhm.
So that's sort of what my role looks like day to day now. Networking a lot with other businesses to, ultimately get us more work and help our business as a whole. That's sort of what my day to day looks like now, rather than being on the tools full time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, good. And then what do you envisage like looking forward? What are like you're talking about, okay, apply more time to growing the business and working on the brand and the marketing and that kind of stuff. Like what does that look like? What does the roadmap look like?
So I mean, look, we've got specific goals that we want to be hitting
Like
in the next
financial
sort of like.
goals or just what sort of goals?
Yeah, so like even just team, like we got team goals and financial goals like revenue targets and stuff that we're wanting to hit. Um, you know, Sometimes we hit those things a lot quicker, but like right at the moment we're taking on sales staff now. That actually wasn't a part of this year's plan.
Mm,
But we've done it, right? So that's how fast it's sort of grown. So it's done it quicker than our plan. So um, yeah, I guess sort of like our roadmap in the next even 12 months, ideally, we'll look to have multiple sales teams and really build out, I guess, like a really strong market share. We're really strong in our northern sort of suburbs work of Adelaide and South Australia, but we really want to be targeting more of the southern sort of parts, as well as really specialize a bit more in more of the off grid space as well next year. So bring on more sales staff, bring in more in-house crew members, like ground crew members as well, and
mm.
just refine out our sort of admin sort of teams as well, because there's everything is going to need work. Everything just
Sure.
continually needs work as you grow a business.
And
But as the road,
will that mean that your position will change yet again and you'll have to be, wearing a different hat?
yeah, it's always going to constantly change.
Yeah.
I guess what I'll end up doing, and what I sort of envisage, what I what my vision is for myself, I guess, is fixing fixing issues that need to be fixed. So
Yeah.
and helping, like at the end of the day, some sales guys, they're not sparkies, right? That they
Right.
might just come to me for advice. So we can fix that kind of stuff up. Do a little bit of design work on some of the larger projects.
Mhm.
Help the admin staff with setting up some process and stuff like that. Still wearing every sort of hat to a point, but more so just helping, I
Advising. Yeah.
guess, yeah, advising on what needs to happen and making those big calls. But you never really know fully until you're in the position what the hat's going to look like, right?
No, it's true. And the other thing that you touched on is the reality of when you actually set a game plan and it's documented and you've got something to work towards, you typically hit it faster than you expect to based on the fact that you've just got a clearer vision and all the peripheral stuff just kind of disappears. We see it all the time,
Yeah, I
like,
think that's what I was saying even just before, like about, without having, that's why having coaches is really important, because they hold you accountable to those sorts of things. Just before this call, I was sitting in a call with like my personal mentor, and we're setting our goals for the next sort of 12 months. And they're written down, they're SMART goals, so they're specific, measurable, attainable, and like, they're there, and time based. So there's times that specific goals need to be hit and targets need to be hit. And when you have it in front of you and you're always looking at it, you're like, oh, I've got to do that. And having someone to hold you accountable to do that is really important too.
Yeah, totally. And so with that in mind, is there, like, do you have specific personal goals that tie into the business and how that all works, like sort of as a mechanism?
Yeah. So like personally as well, like it's little things like just like real basic things, especially, and this gets brought up even in our business coaching with Rob and his
Bobby.
team, because it's a bit of like a TAFE class, right? So you sit with all these guys that are in similar positions, and these guys talk about just letting things as simple as their health go to
Totally.
concentrate on the business. So maintaining just basic things like your health, like keeping up with the gym, keeping up with your relationship with your partner is incredibly important. So I definitely have goals that are attributed directly to my health and fitness, my relationship, and my home life as well.
Yeah.
So it's not everything is business focused, but those goals, if you actually hit those goals, I've found will help you in the long run along with your business. Because if you're fit, healthy, and happy, that reflects directly onto your business as a whole.
And money can't buy that, really.
No, that's right. And you know what? I think that's probably another huge thing is just like everyone just focuses so much on money. Yeah, it's important. But when you get a grip with the reality that it's not, money comes and goes all the time, you generally sort of have a happier sort of business as well. So the guys can make a mistake. It costs you $400. Old me 5 years ago would blow up. So if they made a $500 mistake, blow up, I'd be like, man, now we're losing money, yada yada yada. Have a go at them. That's not the right culture. Now the culture's like, oh, that sucks. All right, that's fine. You made a mistake. How do we fix it? How do we make sure that doesn't happen again? It's okay. It can be fixed. Rather than just focusing on the money portion of things. Money can't buy happiness neither. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So what about some of the like selfishly now, I want to talk about some of the advancements and the things that you've had from on the marketing side of things. I mean, we've been working together for a couple of years now. It started with web development, some organic marketing, and then we moved into paid marketing. Like, how is this journey that you've been on evolved, and what does that look like for Deionno?
So yeah, look,
because you were using someone, I think before we worked together, you were using someone and you weren't getting very good results or something. So I think we took a bunch of stuff over. I can't remember. It was that long ago.
Yeah. So finding the right person that fits your business is going to be first and foremost the biggest thing. We took on a local business that was it would be within the top 3 of Adelaide in terms of marketing here. That's how highly rated they are on the internet, right? But what's crazy is we paid them so much money, we got no results. So in terms of that, we looked at what was going on. We're looking at what we were spending. We're like, this isn't working, and it almost gave me like no hope. I'm like, yeah, we're spending this money, but we're not getting any results. Like,
yeah,
but we're using the best of the best. You know what I mean? So what's going on? Anyway, I think the biggest thing is first, like our journey was re-look at our website, right? There's so much that people don't know how a website is created that attributes to how it presents for even things like Google, right? and your SEO and stuff like that. So search engine optimization for anyone that doesn't know that. But we rebuilt the website to perform well for Google and perform well for our SEO sort of marketing. I think that was step number one. Once that was sort of built out and working, I think we started moving into a bit of paid work as well.
Mhm.
So I think we started out on some Google ads actually,
Yeah,
and we were doing that purely for service, so service only, and that was really good. It is good, but it can be bad. There's definitely days where we would blow our budget out without even winning anything.
Yeah.
And that's where SEO sort of takes over, because it's a long game. I think that's probably a big thing is everyone to remember is it's a long game. You got to be doing it for a long period of time before you see results.
Yeah.
AdWords are really good to get you fast results, is what we've learned.
Yeah.
But yeah, we started out with that.
There's an ecosystem there, and I think people need to. And this is why, and truthfully, but from the time that you started working with us, and even now, like we say to clients all the time, we'll do SEO respectfully when we say it's the right time to do it, because the mission critical stuff to move the needle that's not going to be it. And so, now we put so much emphasis into like the funnels and the lead generation and like the stuff that you're sort of experiencing now, the high volume stuff. And the other stuff just ticks away in the background. Then it completes like an ecosystem with, the website, the organic marketing, the paid marketing. And it's very rarely one or the other. It's like a combination of those things, which really, like you say, over the long run, really does make the difference.
Yeah, and you know what? That's pretty much the next part is like we moved from the paid ads. But the problem with doing paid ads is servicing those leads that come in, and like you just said, having the proper funnel, right? If you've got no CRM to manage the leads coming in, you've got no process around how do you even answer the phone? How do you book your client, and how do you then service the client? If you don't have a plan for that, like you might as well have not done it at all, right?
Yeah, you bang on. And most people try to run before they can walk there. So having that system in place, which can enable you to nurture, track, even capture just all those contacts right through the sales cycle of whatever the product is you're selling. It's so important before you start pumping money into traffic campaigns, because inevitably what happens is you just end up like those leads, they just come and go and they're just money lost, Whereas if you've got a system in place, you can really build that database, engage your list, re-engage your customers, cross-sell, upsell. You can do all that kind of stuff because they're part of your asset then.
Yeah, the huge thing that a lot of especially smaller guys miss is it's not about you can pay to acquire the lead, but once you have the client, it's the long-term value of the client, what you can get out of the client.
Totally.
So, and it only just happened. I think we did a service call for a client local to us. I think we just changed the PowerPoint over. But yeah, okay, we initially spent maybe $50-$60 to acquire that lead, right? But over the lifetime of that customer, he's come back for so much work, and only now we just closed nearly a $7,000 solar system with him, right? We didn't have to pay to reacquire that customer.
Yeah,
we already had him in our system. So yeah, having a funnel, having like a way to even keep track of all the customers that you had beforehand is really important, and having that funnel is really important to nurture every lead that you've got from the start right through for years to come.
And the important part of it, which it's kind of hard in the early stages for us to communicate, like there's obviously like, and you're seeing it now because you're sort of way more down that path than people that are to just start working with us initially, but the serendipities that come from having like these sort of systems deployed is what you're kind of experiencing now. It's enabling growth, which can remove you from areas. And that's kind of like, it's a hard thing to communicate that to people initially, because they're like, I don't give a shit about that. I just want my phone to ring. And you're like, I get it. But looking forward, like it will evolve into this thing which actually can replace you, which is what we're going through. We're constantly going through as part of the evolution with our clients. It's like, okay, now that we've solved the lead problem, now we need the next. There's always every single time you solve that lead problem, it will create another problem at part of the sales process or like fulfillment for team or whatever it might be. So it's a constant evolution, and it will keep constantly evolving and evolving and evolving and evolving and evolving. You know, like you solve one problem, you create another, and then you fix that one, and it's ongoing.
Yeah. Well, guys, and the other thing to remember is like there's only a set amount that your phone's going to ring before you become incredibly inefficient on site. Like I can't be on site. Like I don't even answer the phone anymore. My phone gets diverted now because it's pretty hard to imagine the amount of leads that will come in or call or whatnot. I would spend all day on the phone just talking to people. So having the process in place is so important to deal with people and make sure they get the service that you're offering and you're giving that 5-star sort of service as well.
Which truthfully, if you didn't have people there taking those calls, it wouldn't be, right? Like that's why it's so important to do it in the right order, because if you go macro, give me all the leads in the world, but I can't answer them because I'm up on a roof putting panels in, then it's a shitty service, shitty experience.
Yeah, there's no point paying for leads that you can't service. You're actually going to lose money because like the cost of acquiring a lead can be expensive when you're running paid ads, right? So, there's definitely that aspect to it as well.
So what's the last 12 months look like for you guys percentage wise in like, capital growth, and obviously team, you've literally 10x'd.
Yeah. So look, like I can tell you now, like in terms of our turnover, like we've well and truly doubled it, like gone over doubled it. So to give you some like actual, not like I can't give you the actual figures, but like to the dollar, but it was around like our last sort of financial year was sitting around the 1.5 mil turnover, and then now we've done, I think the financial year that just went, we done, I think it was like 2.8, 2.9 actually, I think it was, and then even in our last 2 quarters that have just gone, we're looking at that should be another 50% on top of that if all goes to plan. So in the span of realistically like 18 months, we've done we'll do 1.5 times what we did before we started doing proper marketing, proper ads, proper building out our sales funnel, making sure it was right.
And one of the things I just wanted to ask you as well before we get to wrapping up is that whole, like, I know we've been working pretty closely, and I know you guys at your end as well on the like taking products or in like panels, for example, or batteries or whatever, and bundling them into like things that enable you to packages that enable you to really up your ticket item. Because we see it all the time. People come into us, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're selling like these $7,000 solar panels or whatever," and like you guys are over there consistently selling $30,000, $25,000 like energy packages, So, like,
like you can see this even like on our socials. Like we got heaps of customers that just bundle every energy management system under the sun, right? Because when people are looking, it's easy, to sell like it's one thing to sell a solar system, but it's so easy to bundle a battery in with it, and then to top it all off, it's very easy to then say bundle like an EV charger with it or home management, like site consumption monitoring, things, just basic energy management things. People are buying a product. It's pretty easy to bundle it in. Even things like switchboard upgrades. The guys will do it all the time. They'll be on site. They'll be like, "Hey, you're getting like a pretty hefty like solar system, and huge electrical system in your house installed. Do you want to bundle in a switchboard upgrade and EV charger? We'll do you a really good deal because it'll be on site already." Once you've got the customer's trust, it's pretty easy to bundle in little items like that can sort of raise your revenue and the cost of sale, or not the cost of sale, raise the sale value up a lot.
And the advantage of doing that, we find, of course, is you don't like you're generating more revenue from less jobs. Like the job ticket size is bigger. You don't need as many of them, which is the perfect scenario, right? You're getting more money for less work.
Yeah, that's right. And that just comes down to making the most of your spend in the cost of acquiring that client at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and
it's just going to
also,
help you in the long run.
and truthfully, like from their perspective, like in the interest of delivering them the best possible service. I mean, alternatively, if you didn't offer them that and something faltered because their switchboard didn't keep up with the new system, then you're gonna have to go back and do it again at a greater cost. So it's kind of in their interest. And I think this is
Yeah, you know what? Customers appreciate it. Customers, honestly, like if you've got their best interest at heart, like, hey, your switchboard's a bit, how you going? And like, let's upgrade it while we're here. And we're going to save you a call out because we're here already.
Yeah.
Easy. The customer's happy. You know, they're happy that you've spotted the fault. You fixed the problem that may arise. It may not happen right then and there, but it will eventually happen. They might need it, and you're just going to save them spending more money in the long run.
Yeah, we're seeing it time and time again. It's so powerful because at the end of the day, and the other thing I think that a lot of businesses trip up on is like they're trying to sell the system. They're not trying to sell the outcome. No one really gives a fuck if it's a 6.6 power kilowatt unit with, like, no one gives a shit. They just want to know they can, they can charge their Tesla at night and they don't have to be when there's a power outage, their house will still have power,
Yeah, that's right. They care about the outcome. They don't care about the product. They'll care about the price to a point, but if you can really emphasize value rather than price, you'll do really well.
Cool, man. Well, look, this has been awesome. Like it's been awesome, amazing watching you guys grow, and like I think like credit to you, really embracing the system and the process and just evolving with it. I think you guys are really good at like adapting and being receptive and responsive to those little micro things that you can apply which do make the difference. So yeah, good on you for like sticking it out. It's obviously paying dividends.
No, I appreciate also credit where credit's due, working with yourself and listening to the podcast as well as a whole has really helped me as a business operator. But as a young team, things change and you've got to evolve with the times. I think that's probably a key thing for everyone is just evolve with the times. You can't be doing the same thing for 20 plus years and expect it to keep working. So yeah, thanks for having us on, Matt.
No, you bet. Bang on, mate. And and especially in your space, like things evolve so quickly. It's such an advantage and an opportunity for guys in your position to be on top of those evolutions, because at the end of the day, it lends itself to being able to present those opportunities to the customer, which of course gets you back in the door. And when things are moving so quick in the tech space that you're in, like it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's an exciting space and it's a fast-moving space for sure. So keen to see where it goes for sure.
Absolutely, mate. Well, look, again, congratulations for all your success, and I'm looking forward to seeing what 2024 prevails.
Oh, me and you both, Matt. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Please, while you're here, subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Now, listen, if you are a trade-based business and you work in projects, roofing, bathrooms, kitchen renovations, home renovations, solar installations, that kind of thing, we would love to be able to showcase you as our next success case. Insane return on ad spend over here. We're talking 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 13,000% return on ad spend week in, week out with some of our clients. And we would love to put you in that picture. So please head across to tradie.wiki/YT for YouTube. Tradie.wiki/YT for YouTube. I look forward to chatting to you soon. Enjoy the next episode and thank you for all your support.